Good morning, everyone. Melissa Patterson here. Welcome to our Health Hack Thursday. For those who don't know who I am a postpartum holistic health and recovery practitioner, and I help postpartum moms overcome exhaustion, brain fog, and overwhelm to boost their energy and shed those postpartum weight. As you all know, I'm here with my co-host, Meghan Calido. She is a regenerative health practitioner, herbalist, aromatherapist. A list goes on, and she can tell you what she does. She is a detox specialist. She does it all. Anything that you need in your body or have any questions, she has the answer to. I'm so fortunate to have her here. But today we're actually going over deep detox and why it's important to have a practitioner or an expert to walk you through these detoxification. Meghan here, since the beginning of the year, has been preparing her body really, and then started this detox protocols. Now, there's many, many different detoxes that you can do. There's subtle ones, just like what I have been doing, utilizing superfoods and then parasite cleansing and herbs that are available to us. So I'm gonna let Meghan go on here because we don't have a lot of time. But please, start by letting us know your how you started preparing this year for your deep detox.
Yeah, so I'm actually finishing up my certification to become a regenerative detox specialist. So I decided to implement everything that I was being taught and to see so that I can walk my clients through it because like you can't walk somebody through something you've never been through. Um, I have been on this health journey for since 2019. So it's been a while. It's been 6 years almost. Um, and I have done lots of cleanses, and I have never had this easy of a time. I mean, I'm thinking that it's not just because every single time that I've done a parasite cleanse or a metal detox, or I've gotten sicker, like even after the fact, not feeling 100% better. And the detox period was super hard. So, yeah, we set ourselves up really nicely for this. So, the first thing we want to do is to stop feeding the things that we don't want in our body. We're trying to rid ourselves of candida or parasites. That's the fungal kingdom, the parasitic kingdom. And the things that feed those are when food petrifies in our stomachs. And so our first course of action was to get anything that was going to sit in our digestive tracts for a long time out of the diet, which is meats, dairies, processed foods. So in November, we cut out, or in December, we cut out meats and dairy altogether, which we had already weren't eating a ton of. So it wasn't a super hard transition. And I feel like all the work with Purium and utilizing superfoods really walked me gently into that. Like I would not have been able to do that without that support. Um, and then in January, we went 100% raw. So just raw fruit until, well, obviously raw fruit, but like fruit until noon. And then during that time, we also started supporting our detox pathways. So, like, it's super important to make sure that the kidneys are filtering. That's something that a lot of practitioners don't look into. And then their clients start taking supplements and they feel worse instantly. Like, I could not take any supplements at all. And that's because these are lab made products that are going to have to be taken out by the lymphatic system, which is already in an overwhelmed state. So,
Yes, I think that, even when you said obviously fruits, that's the thing. Like a lot of people don't quite understand that. And there's this type of mindset belief that like if we eat fruits only, then we're depriving ourselves from the nutrients that we actually need. But, when you really go deeper in understanding and research, why plants and fruits are so important for us is that's where we get our nutrients and vitamins and minerals. You won't really get it from eating meat at all. I
no,
mean,
the
most
body has
people,
to do a lot of work as well to break it
oh,
down, to break down the
100%.
protein and then to find what little resemblance of nutrition it can. And so, yeah, we're eating this huge meal. And oftentimes people eat this huge meal and they will say, like, oh, I'm so full. And they'll be like, your stomach just feels heavy, up
Mhm.
at like that just means that your body's going to have to utilize more energy to try to break everything down. And when we're utilizing energy to break things down, we can't utilize that energy to detoxify the body.
Or
So,
heal the body itself because our body is
yes.
meant to heal. I mean, I talk about it all the time. I was one of my coaches and mentors, she was talking about it today. She used to be a doctor in the medical field, and now she goes holistic, and she teaches professionals how to really understand a holistic way of naturally healing ourselves. And she's like, as a doctor, like, this is weird for me to even say, but when you have a broken bone, it's not the doctor that fixes you. Your body heals itself. The doctor may have to put like those bones back together, but they're not the one who's fixing you. You go home and you fix yourself, like you heal yourself. And if you think about it, like a simple cut, you bleed, it's open wound, and what happens? You put a band-aid over it and it starts to heal itself. So when we allow our body to heal itself, then obviously it's going to work better and properly. And in order to do that, you have to open the detox pathway. You have to clean out your digestive system. And that means like microbiome, your microvilli. And unfortunately, the way life is today, we are exposed with so much chemicals and we can't get away from it, right? And no matter how healthy we are, we start to feel bad and we start to feel really exhaustion and headaches and things like that. And it's funny because I never detoxed ever in my life until I ended up being a part of this beautiful wellness community, and I learned so much about detoxification. And it took me a while to like want to detox, maybe about 6 months, but obviously I wanted to research and like understand it before I started it myself. So when I did, oh my God, it was probably the best thing I've ever experienced in my life because I felt more alive. I released some emotional tensions that I had no idea that was still lingering. Like people think it's all physical, but it's also mind and like
Emotional.
your emotional healing. And it was very interesting to say the least when I did my first parasite cleanse. I remember just being so irritable, and how for the first 3 days all I wanted to do was eat, 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 eat. And I'm not a snacker at all, but for some reason I was wanting to just eat every 30 minutes until I went to bed, and I was like, what is going on with me? That's not me. And as I further educated myself, that is parasite die off, and I
Yeah,
had no
they want to
idea.
survive. And the worst thing that we can do, and I get questions all the time, like people message me all the time, like, oh, how can I do a parasite cleanse? And I'm more than happy to like offer generic information, but the people that I see succeed with parasite cleansing are working with a practitioner.
Yeah,
Like you definitely need somebody to hold your hand through the process because there's so many different things that will come up emotional wise. And emotions are something that I tend to start working with my clients on from day one of us meeting. Like, let's start reading these books. Let's start coming up with these tools. Because the emotional things will have you push the brakes,
oh yeah,
that those cravings of like, oh my gosh, why am I wanting this? Like, I haven't wanted for that in a long time. It's literally like the parasites and candida, like,
right.
oh, I need food. And they've hijacked our bodies. So, like, oh, I need food. And the last thing we want to do is to kill parasites and make them mad. Who wouldn't be mad about being killed? And then to feed them, and then
Yeah.
that's where we run into the problem. And so, like, it's super important to work with somebody on this so that you can have all the tools in place to be able to get through it easily.
Yeah. I think right now a lot of people are like doing a detox and parasite, and it sounds so good and everything, but again, like Megan said, you need a practitioner, you need an expert that really can walk you through the process. And there is an actual process. You don't just do it. And then there's a lot of like parasite cleanse there and saying, oh, just parasite cleanse for 5 days and you're good to go. Those are all marketing. And
Yeah.
it's not the way to go at all. And it may be
No, and you can
cheaper.
make a problem even worse.
Yes,
Like,
100%.
so the mother parasite actually lets off this chemical that stops the eggs from hatching. And so let's just imagine that we kill that mama parasite and then all of these eggs start hatching. Like we can really create an even bigger problem when we're not taking the right steps. So,
Well, I mean, that's
yeah.
why people end up having worse symptoms. And then they're like, I don't like this. This is, detox and parasite is like ridiculous. Like, I don't like feeling this way. And again, that's why it's so important to have a specialist to walk you through it so you can understand what to expect, what the process is, and how to do it safely. Because, like Megan said in the beginning, how she started, she knew she was going to do a deep detox, her entire family. And so they literally prepared their body first in order to take on that detoxification. Because what detox means, you're pulling out every toxins and chemicals out of your body. Well, what do you think is going to happen? You're talking about chemicals. Okay, let's just simplify this, chemicals. You're taking chemicals out of your body. It's not going to come out nice and pretty. I'm sorry. It's going to
No.
come out however the symptoms you have been experiencing for however long, exactly the way it is through skin, bowel. You'll have gassiness, you'll have diarrhea, you'll have all these horrible symptoms, headaches. I mean, just I was actually urinating like every hour my first time detoxing, and I was like, I guess I'm detoxing through that. But the thing is that you will experience some symptoms because your body is getting rid of those toxins, and toxins are not, they don't feel good. And why you walk around not feeling good, because you were letting it sit in your body, but then when you start expelling it, you're not going to feel great until it's all out of your body, and then you'll feel like $1,000,000.
Right. And I will say, like, the more the detox pathways are open, the kidneys, the liver, the skin, the lungs, um, the more those pathways are opened, the less detox symptoms you have. So I actually started a liver tincture, a kidney tincture, and a lymph tincture in January and kept those right on through 6 weeks before even starting the peak of our detox. Like we had worked our way up to this point to remove mucoid plaque and do a week long system. But my wife did not start those. She said, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to, I'm good with this. And I said, oh, okay. And I will tell you, um, she had and they weren't the worst detox symptoms ever, but she did experience headache, fatigue, nausea, and I just had a little bit of fatigue. I kind of likened it to like, when you're getting over a cold and you're like, I could just lay on the couch today and I probably should. That's how I felt. I didn't have any headache at all, which is unusual for me, especially since that was a symptom that I dealt with for a long time. I had headaches 24/7. I actually had CT and they found severe brain inflammation and a cerebral spinal fluid leak. So, like, headaches were one of my symptoms when I was sick, and I did not experience one. I did not get nauseous. I had no body aches, which is a symptom I revisited back in January. And we call this retracing or healing crisis. But the body is going to retrace old pathways. And for 3 nights, I woke up in my shoulders. Like I used to wake up in pain crying. And so 3 nights in a row, I woke up with this pain in my shoulders, not to the point where I was waking up crying, but like, ooh, I can't get comfy. And then it just went away. And I haven't dealt with it since. And it was like the first week in January when we switched to all raw. So, like, I think these symptoms have come little by little, and my body was able to work through them before going into this deep dive. Because, like, we still have to be able to function when we're detoxing. We still have to work. We still have to take care of the kids and cook dinners. And we still have to life is still lifing. And so like just getting the body ready and having those pathways nice and open. And that's, I just got two pictures this morning from clients of their morning urine just to see if their kidneys are filtering properly. And we're seeing much improvement through just making little changes in the diet. Um, but yeah, so that's before we deep dive on anything, I'm making sure that we're pooping every day, at least once a day, that the kidneys are filtering, that breath work is involved. And I usually have people do that 4 times a day. Our lungs get rid of a lot of the waste from our body. And when our kidneys are not filtering, which a lot of people have issues with, the lungs become more spongy and they start to absorb some of the toxins to try to help out. And then super last resort comes out of the skin. So if there's skin issues, we didn't open those pathways. Like we need to work on that. So it's interesting and it's fun to like do a whole health questionnaire and see where the issues are and then to
Mhm.
do a detox even if the only thing that they could do is a ULT and a parasite cleanse to go back over that questionnaire after and they're like nope, no longer dealing with that, nope, no longer dealing with it. It's so amazing and it really shows you how much just changing the diet can help support those detox pathways and get things moving.
Yeah, I love that. And, educating myself for the last over a year now, just truly understanding this. And it's obviously everybody has different healing journeys. So, there's people who are gradual, there's people who are subtle, and there's people who feel like they never have experience anything until like 6 months down the road, it hits them and they're like, wow. So you don't know where you're gonna fall underneath. You can think that I'm so healthy, I'm not gonna feel anything, I eat healthy, clean. Just because you do all these things does not mean that you're not gonna experience some sort of detox symptoms. And they are real. Detox symptoms are real. And again, why it's so important to really work with somebody who understands this and explain these things to you. So when you do go into it, your mind is prepared. And so it's not anything fun at all. It's not just like, let's do a detox and detox party. But and it can be, but you have to really hold each other hand and know that this is going to be a ride, especially if you have been somebody who eats, oily food, fried food, fast food, going out to eat all the time, just going out to a restaurant does not mean it's clean. Um, Even those who are naturopathic people who are herbalists make their own parasite cleansing, their own whatever cleansing that they do. The one thing that we do have to keep in mind is where is that ingredient coming from? And again, without the specialist or the practitioner helping you find those recommendations to make sure where to get them properly, you can just get them anywhere and they may have some additives, preservatives, or some way that can even cause more harm to your gut and why you end up having leaky gut. So, Megan and I worked really hard to find these companies, these organizations that truly, truly care about the consumers and knowing where it's coming from, the regenerative practices, and, like the cleanest, most purest ingredients that you can possibly find. We know exactly where they are, and we wouldn't recommend anything that we don't take ourselves. And that's one of the things that I always say, like, if I give it to my children, then I feel safe enough to give it to somebody else. I would never ever do any harm to my children. So, and myself, because I don't want to feel bad, you know. So yes, anything that we recommend is all holistic, and our approach is through natural healing, plant-based medicine. And so if you guys have any questions at all and want to learn a little bit more, We are here every Thursday. We try to get on at 9 or 9:30. Next week, actually, we have a guest speaker. I have a friend who co-authored with me on a book, and she is in health and wellness. She actually teaches kids about meditation and yoga, and she's part of that Arva yoga nonprofit organization that now I'm teaching in. By the way, announcement. I'm doing a free workshop and I will go over the gut brain adrenal connection because, for as long as I know, gut and brain connection has always been such a big thing and it's powerful. But yet, we are forgotten that there's another aspect of that, and that's hormones. And as women, especially women, our body is really, we work through hormones. And if one of those hormones is not working properly or it's depleted, the other hormones have to compensate. And then why we start feeling exhausted. As a mom, I was constantly exhausted 24/7. And prior to that, I was very energized. They used to call me the Energizer Bunny because I was constantly hyper. And as I became a mom, I was just depleted. And I tried everything, all the herbs, all the plants, all the superfoods, and I was still feeling down. And I was like, why do I feel exhausted? Until actually you, Megan, had me really look into adrenals. And you kept saying it's the adrenals, it's the adrenals. And now that I really did so much research and understanding what the adrenals do, and it's our stressor, responder, and it sends out cortisol. So if you have too much or too little, then everything else gets affected and it goes straight to your gut system. And then your gut system goes through your brain and it just goes around in circles. So I'm going to teach this and on March 16th at 4 p.m. on a virtual platform. I'll put the link below to sign up, and it's free and it's great education for you guys. So thank you so much. Did you want anything else to be added to that?
No, I think that's all amazing. I'm excited for your class too.
Thank you. Thank
Amazing.
you. So we'll see you guys next week. Not sure exactly what we're going to talk about, but whatever comes up is what's going to be talked about. And then I hope that everybody has a beautiful day. And remember to always be kind to yourself. And I'll talk to you soon, Megan.
Bye.
Bye.